choose?
Yeah, well, it's the second age, so he's much younger than the trilogy or anything like that. He's half elven, which is a sort of unique thing in the elven world. He's young, he's ambitious, he's serving his king, and yeah, curious about different cultures and stuff.
Was it fun?
Very fun. Very
Was it
fun.
hard?
Very hard, yeah. Yeah.
Then it was fun.
Nazanin, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
So you play Bronwyn of the Southlands,
Yes.
and she's a healer. So what we've seen in the trailers, she's extremely powerful, yet she's nurturing. So from where did you draw the strength to play a character this magnanimous?
Thank you for the question. It's so good to be back in India, and thank you for your warm welcome and hospitality. I love playing Bronwyn because she's so multifaceted. She's, as you said, a healer, a single mother to a rebellious teenage son played by Tyro, in a forbidden romance with an elf Arondir who is tasked with watching over the Southlanders. I play a Southlander who historically, her ancestors chose the wrong side. They chose evil over good, and she's trying very hard to redeem them. What I love about her is that she is very resilient and strong, as you said, as well as nurturing. And I was going to be a doctor before I started acting. I have a degree in biology, so that side of her, the healing side, resonates with me. But also her determination to redeem her people and to liberate them from the forces of evil of their past, the shackles of their past, really resonates with me as an activist, because I'm a long-time activist for my homeland, Iran, human rights activist. And women in Iran and in many places in the world are at the forefront of the move towards democracy, freedom, and human rights. And so that's where I drew inspiration.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And may I just say, I have seen your work, and I think you're an incredible actor. And thank you for all the wonderful things that you're doing and you're standing for.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellent. Tyro, my man.
How's it going?
You play Theo, right?
Yes.
And you're the youngest of them all.
Looks like it, yeah.
What was it like? What's the experience, man?
Well, I mean, I think this is kind of big for everyone because it's not every day you get to work on The Lord of the Rings, which is huge. But, you know, thank you to JD for entrusting me with the role, given my inexperience, I guess you could say. But, no, I think the whole cast has been really, really, really supportive and, you know, have really taken me under their wing, especially Naz. You know, I was very, very nervous and anxious. I came from working on sets with like 5 people as the crew to hundreds. And, you know, it was very, very overwhelming, but, you know, with J.A. and, you know, Wayne and Charlotte and Naz, Ismail, Ian, everyone that I worked with just made me feel so comfortable and helped me do my job, which is ultimately the most important thing. And yeah, I went from Perth to Mumbai in front of all these beautiful people, and I'm here. And yeah, how's it going, everyone? Yeah, I'm truly, truly blessed.
That's amazing, man. You almost look in character.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. I like the style.
Thank you.
It's a Middle Earth orange.
It's Middle Earth orange. And Charles,
Yes.
hi.
Yes, hi.
Seen your work, big fan.
Thank you very much.
Everyone knows the famous Elven characters of Galadriel and Elrond, but I believe there is no story without you. Do you agree?
I'd have to agree with that, yes.
Good answer.
Although, no, obviously there are many, many other stories and themes in Tolkien and in our show, but ultimately the story of the Rings of Power is the one that brings them all to a head. But that's what's so interesting about Tolkien. For such a major storyline, he gives Celebrimbor very little page space. He's mentioned briefly, and those contradict each other, those mentions. So what our hunt, the showrunners, myself, the heads of department, the directors and the writers, is to find the hooks that Tolkien has given us, hang a few things on there, see how that goes, and then rummage around in the wardrobe a little more, see what else one can find in there, a few more hooks, a few more bits and pieces, hang it all up and see how it looks. And it's also the first time that Celebrimbor has been featured in a live action adaptation of Tolkien's stories, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what you all think about him.
Amazing.
Lloyd, I'd really like to ask you, you're playing Elendil,
I am.
who's the father to Isildur.
Isildur, yeah.
Isildur's
This
a very
naughty boy
important
here.
character, but I just didn't want to do debauchery of the language service. Like, okay, let me not get Isildur wrong, because everyone out there will want to come after me then. So, so definitely, you're playing the father to Isildur and Eärien, who's played by Maxim and Emma. So, can you tell us what do we expect out of the series, and what is this world, and what's been the experience for you being a part of this?
Thank you for the question. First of all, it's really, really good to be back in India too, like Naz. I've had a beautiful experience working here in the past, so very happy to be back. Yes, Elendil, who is, as we see him at the beginning of the series, he's a sea captain, very capable man, but he's been widowed and he's trying to deal with his grieving adult children, two of whom are present here in Maxim and Emma, as you say. And he's a very well-known character in the Legendarium, and many fans of the movies will have seen him in brief, but if you read the books, he's referred back to a lot, and he's a sort of hero archetype. And he's very dear to a lot of the fans' hearts for that reason, because of his ultimate self-sacrifice at the end during the alliance of elves and men, where he dies in the act of trying to defeat Sauron. So, but again, rather like Charles was saying about Celebrimbor, there are only these sort of limited signposts along the way that Tolkien gives us. So there's this great sort of responsibility and privilege and excitement to be able to fill out those gaps. And where we see him at the very beginning is this one. Tolkien's Atlantis is Numenor, the island of Numenor, where Elendil comes from. And at this point in the story, Numenor is at its absolute peak, but it's right on the precipice between a sort of more nationalist side of the island, which feels they need an independence from the elves, and a more faithful side. And Elendil is very much torn between those two parts of society, between his head and his heart. His head is rational, pragmatic, trying to keep his family safe, and his heart is drawn towards the faithful. And something of the schism in that society is also reflected deep in the family within his children, so that there's a lot for him to deal with at the beginning, and I'm very excited to chart this man through that journey. So yeah, I'm very, very privileged and very excited to be here.
As an actor being on the set, the adaptation of Numenor, nobody's ever seen this world. So how is it to be on a set which so many people have imagined but never really seen? You were actually there, so what was the experience like?
It was genuinely extraordinary in the sense that in the modern world we expect everything to be CGI now, but we built Numenor, we built the capital city of Numenor, and it took 6 months to build. And I remember the first day walking onto that set was quite an extraordinary experience. I was with JD and he showed me around, and just the attention to detail, the amount of skill and brilliance in every department on this job, and ultimately the dedication and love that you feel. So they built the city from the ground up, and you can feel the history and how architecture changed over centuries, where loyalties lie, and the changing face of the landscape around it. Because that was also, I think my second day on set was filming a sequence on the beach with Galadriel as we're riding our horses. And again was with JD, and we realized that this is the first time that we'd seen the geography of Numenor, the physical geography of Numenor. And that was another beautiful moment to think, wow, I'm actually the first person to be part of that. So that was super exciting. And there's one member of our security team from Amazon who walked us back when we were in Comic-Con, walked us back to the hotel, and she said, I've been told not to talk to the actors and geek out about Lord of the Rings. I was like, come on, geek out. Let's see what you got. But she'd said both her parents were fans of Lord of the Rings. She'd read it. She'd read the Silmarillion. She'd watched the movies, and she said, And when she saw Numenor on screen for the first time, she'd seen the first 3 episodes, she said she just burst into tears. And I took that as a really, really good sign that oftentimes when we read the books, our imagination is really powerful, but somehow this exceeded her expectations, or should I say enhanced her expectations of what Numenor was. So I was really, really pleased about that.
That's really amazing. That's
All
really...
I'm thinking is I wish I had that voice.
I know, it's a great voice, isn't it?
It's a little deeper after the
You
aeroplane
can
flight
use
we
it,
just
right?
took.
You know how to
but,
use it.
Lloyd, the thing is, most of the times I sound like you. So I have a hard time sounding like me. Maxim, Isildur, huh?
Yes.
How does it feel? Because this is a character that everyone is waiting to watch. And it has fans all over the world. So where does this arrive in the series?
Well, he's a sailor on the kind of cusp of adulthood when we first meet him, and there's an emptiness and a void in him, and I guess he doesn't really want to fit into societal expectations of him. He doesn't want to really be like his father in a way, but then there's a pressure to also...
Children.
So you kind of meet him deliberating and yearning for something else that potentially is not in Numenor, not on the island.
Nice. Emma, I have a question to ask you. Do you want to say something, Hrithik?
Go on.
Are you sure you don't want to say anything?
Absolutely sure.
Just checking.
I was just thinking he could do well in Hindi films.
Actually, he does have a very Indian face.
Yeah. I don't know if it's...
I'll take that.
Would you do a film in which you'd cast the 3 of us?
The 3 of us?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, well, if you write it.
Anyone interested? Make us
Mr.
out
Payne.
there, in case anyone's listening to us.
Between seasons, see no evil, hear no evil.
Emma, your character, hi. How is Mumbai treating you? Please tell me.
It's awesome.
It's
I'm
awesome.
so happy to be here. I've never even been to Asia, so this is, I mean,
Wow.
continental and country-wise, I'm like, wow, totally new.
And when did you come in, if I may ask?
Sorry?
When did you reach here, if I may ask?
3 a.m. this morning.
And she looks so stunning. Guys,
All of you
big
guys.
round of
That's
applause to just
incredible.
that absolute beauty. Emma, you're playing Aryan.